If you're watching this video, you probably read the title and you're thinking, Mr. Ooh la la, how do I journal every day and how do I get more consistent? Well, lucky for you, I have the method. But first, we got to understand that only like 8% to 16% of people journal daily. So don't feel like a chud if you tried it and you dropped it. It's hard as hell to stay consistent. But what it provides you is easily worth the time and effort that it takes. So I'll be talking about how I journaled every day for a year and how it was one of the most impactful changes that I made to my life and why I think that you should do it too. Before you start journaling, you need to find your why. Why do you want to journal? For me, I wanted to plan and record my days. Before this whole thing, I was very unintentional with my time. I was going off strictly vibes and it wasn't getting me any closer to my goals. I was a max level couch potato with all the upgrades, buddy. And it's fine to go off strictly vibes, but I think that if you're trying to get something done and you're not making any progress on it, then that's when you kind of got to be intentional with the time. I also wanted to be more consistent with something in general. And I thought that journaling was something that was low stakes and something that I could look back on after however many years. So it's really important that you have your why, because without that, you're just going to burn out instantly. And I'm sure that if you've journaled before, you've gone through this. So now you're like, DC, I have my why. And you're envisioning yourself hitting a page like Shakespeare. I think it's important that when you journal, you don't really hold yourself to a certain standard. I think that kills a lot of people's motivation to keep doing it. So when I was journaling, I was not forcing myself to write a certain word count. Because on certain days, you're going to be able to write whatever. You're going to be writing full-length video essays. And other days, you're not going to want to write at all. And I don't know about y'all, but for me, I write like I have a rock attached to the pencil. So I knew that wasn't going to work for me at all. And I knew that that would kill any motivation that I had towards this thing. So in addition to not forcing myself to write a certain word count, I would also focus on reflecting on the unique things that happened that day. Because honestly, what's the point of doing this if you're just writing the same thing every single day? And I'll read you guys an entry in my journal just so you can get an idea of what I'm talking about. So boom. I'm about to graduate tomorrow and it feels almost unreal to think about, because for the longest time, it felt like this day would never come. When I made that switch to graphic design, I felt like I was both lost and found, but I always regretted giving up on CS. When I switched back, I felt so behind, but here I am. I made it. I did it with everyone's help. I love you, my friends, my family, and my girlfriend. Analyzing what this handsome devil just wrote, you guys can get an idea of like the structure that my journal entries were in. Now, that doesn't mean that your journal entries have to be something similar, but it's just to give you an idea. Now, of course, there were days where I didn't have anything unique to write about. So in those moments, I would just write about the plans that I had for the following days and maybe some long-term goals that I was really thinking about. Now, when I would have those days where nothing unique would happen, that would motivate me to try different things and put myself in different positions so that I could write about them. So now you're like, DC, Mr. Ooh La La, Mr. Bank Breaker.
I have listened to all of your advice, and I'm not really understanding how this will make me more consistent.
Calm down. God. So you want to understand how this will actually make you more consistent. Well, if your goal was to journal more, I hope that I gave you at least some type of tools for you to be able to do that more consistently. But if we're talking about things past journaling, the reason that journaling makes you more consistent is because it makes you more introspective. Let me cook. When you journal, you're forced to think about the day and the things that you did in it, right? Ideally, you want to write about the positive things, right? How you worked towards your goals and how you really got after it. You're forced to sit there with your inconsistencies and really be vulnerable with yourself. Only you know everything that happened in that day, and I'm talking about externally and internally as well. So if you write about your day and you're lying about what you did, the journal's for you and you know everything that happened, so you're really only hurting yourself. So in those moments, the journal really acts as an accountability partner. For the good first quarter of that year, a lot of my entries were a lot of nothing. And I would look back on them maybe a day later, maybe a week later, maybe even a month later, and it would make me think, wow. And that wow would come from either, wow, I've really made a lot of progress and I'm really farther along my goals and I'm happy. And that's making me feel like I want to be more consistent. I want to get even farther. Or it'd be like, wow, bro, you haven't gone anywhere. How the heck did you waste this much time? And there's definitely value in both perspectives. Now, is it healthy? That's not what I'm here to present y'all. Is it healthy? Probably not. But that's besides the point. Being consistent is a skill, and journaling, what it'll do is it'll help you build up that skill or at least give you the tools to do so. And after using all the strategies that I talked about, it really did change everything for me because it gave me a whole nother perspective. And honestly, it felt like there was a whole nother person that was holding me accountable. If you want a consistent max with max efficiency, then you have to hold yourself accountable. This is not really a process where you can sit there and do it passively. It's something that you have to actively think about and work on constantly. Now that my yap is done, thank y'all for coming through. If you like the content, please give me a like, comment, maybe subscribe. I'm going to see y'all in the next video. Peace out.